want to talk to you about today is a little bit what we're doing at Shapeways, to give you an update. I've been here 3 years ago, and it's great to have an ability to update you on what we've been doing. But before I do, let's realize that how do we make things? How have we been making things? Well, if we look around us, we see that we have, as humans, found out ways to make really, really complicated products, like these laptops or cars. But if we look at them, there is a problem with them. They are all looking the same, and since we want to be more and more involved in the products we buy, since we want to articulate who we are, that doesn't really work for us. So what do? We start to customize, right? Depending on how skillful we are, we either build this amazing, custom car, or we put decals on our laptop. And, in some ways that is really cool, but in some ways it's also very inefficient. It really doesn't, work for all of us, since we don't have the time, or it doesn't give us all the customization abilities, all the customization options that we want. Because for the products we really care about, we really know what we want. So how do we fix that problem? How do we enable everybody to make whatever we want, right? How do we make anything? And what I think is really, really cool is that with the new technology that actually is not that new, that exists for 20 years, 3D printing, that is becoming more and more prevalent, we can give this ability to anyone. That's what we're doing at Shapeways. We give the ability to anyone to make whatever they want. And we are doing that since 5 years. And I want to show you a little bit of what we've been doing over the last couple of years. So if we realize that we want to give input on the products we want, one of the questions, of course, that pops up is, how do we do that? How do we capture what you want? How do we capture what is in your brain, and how do we translate that into a product? Well, we can make that really simple. One of the things we've launched is this iPhone case creator, where if you have a sound on SoundCloud, and there's lots and lots of people who are just as you're uploading videos to YouTube or uploading sounds to SoundCloud, it can be anything. And you can use that sound to customize the backplate of your iPhone. It can be that simple to customize products. It may not be for everyone, but it's a really cool way, we think, to customize your iPhone case. Or if you want to get a little bit more involved, you could use a creator that's also available just online to shape your own sake set, or your own coffee cup, or even your own vase. And it's so simple by just dragging that you start to see that we can make it possible for everyone to make products they want. And this is just some samples. Of course, if you want to talk about making products, you need the right materials. 3D printing in the beginning was all about making things, prototypes really, in plastic. So what we've been doing over the years, and actually this is what ceramic that we launched in 2011, is adding more and more relevant materials. If we think about a vase or a sake set or a coffee cup, ceramics makes total sense. And what happens is that people start designing these amazing, beautifully made products, like this rocket cup, espresso cup, and lots and lots of people seem to like it. Now, another type of product that, of course, is very meaningful and very personal, so we want to be involved in what it is jewelry. So we launched quite recently, actually, a new silver that is such high quality that it's almost hard to believe that it is 3D printed. And actually, we shouldn't care that much. The only thing we should care about is that we can provide the input, that we can create any jewelry we want now. And that's what we see happen. People make these earrings, but they also make, rings for their loved ones, or they make bracelets, or any type of jewelry, or actually anything you want in silver. So you start to see the picture that it's easy to make stuff. You can provide input. We get more and more materials. And actually 3D printing, although it's been around, is just getting mainstream attention. So it will become more and more prevalent, and it will be more and more meaningful to more and more people. So when I was here in 2010, I showed this graph, and then when I look back at the old slides, it was kind of cool to see that, back then, we were making about 7,000 unique products for our users on a monthly basis, which already is quite a number. Today, that has grown to 70,000. And as you can see from this curve, it's growing rather quickly. So it's not only that we feel that this is a way to do it, but actually our users, our community is showing to us that this is a way that they want to make products. Again, coming back to, what do you want to make? You can make anything you want, in any material you want. And all of a sudden, when people realize that it's possible, they start to use it more and more. Now, the last fundamental thing that I want to talk to you about today is that 3D printing not only makes it possible in more and more meaningful ways and easier in more and more ways for anyone to make whatever they want, but it's also making it possible to do that local again. The technology is so efficient that location doesn't make sense anymore. You do it then, if the location is not relevant, you do it as close as possible to the end user. Some of you know probably that you have home printers, so you do it at home. But since we're using industrial type machines, we have to use factories. So where do you put those factories? Well, as close as possible. So that's why we were really, really excited that in October last year, we opened our own factory here in New York. Can you believe that? Making stuff again in New York. And the bottom picture shows how the facility looked when we got it. Mayor Bloomberg came by to open it with a 3D printed scissors. And then, yeah, it was kind of cool. He extracted it from the machine, which was really amazing. He was like, wow. And then we started putting in machines. We now have 9 machines there, a team of almost 20 people running them. We're making close to 1,000 products on a daily basis. And we're ramping that up really, really quickly. And of course, that's really exciting because now we're not shipping stuff across the world, which is good for the time we have to wait before we get our products. It's good because it saves money. And of course, it's good for the environment because shipping products around the world is not the best thing to do. And then, you can go and see it. When the factory opens, which will not be too much more, then we will have meetups there where everybody can see how these incredible machines turn any digital design into a real product. So with that, my time is almost up. I want to, make sure that you really understand that we're at the beginning of a new way of making things. Everyone can now make whatever they want. No more post-customization, but really getting whatever you want in a meaningful way and in an easy way. And that is, I think, what 3D printing is delivering to the world. Thanks.